Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have some important news for the 2026 U.S. House elections, where Republican Merrin, who ran a very close race against Democratic incumbent U.S. Representative Marcy Kaptur in 2024, is officially running again in 2026. The article begins by saying a potential rematch for one of the nation's most hotly contested House seats, representing Ohio's 9th District, could be in the works for 26. Republican Merrin, a former four-term Republican state representative, announced Monday he plans to try again to defeat Democrat U.S. Representative Marcy Kaptur, who happens to be the longest-serving woman in the U.S. Congress. Merrin, who is 39 years old, launched his latest campaign on X, vowing that this time we're going to finish the mission. He won the chaotic 2024 Republican primary with the help of Donald Trump's endorsement before losing to Kaptur by just fewer than 2,400 votes. Kaptur, who is 79 years old. Merrin said, "I'll fight for the America First agenda, strengthen the border, cut taxes, protect our freedoms, and give Northwest Ohio the bold conservative leadership it deserves." Merrin is the third candidate to join the Republican primary in the past few days. I'll be going over more of that in depth in just 1 second. So this is very interesting and very important for the 2026 House elections. Right now, Marcy Kaptur, she represents the 9th District, which is based in Northwest Ohio, which includes Toledo and western Lake Erie coast. Marcy Kaptur, who, as I mentioned, has been around for a while, was reelected with 48.3% of the vote in 2024. And just to show you how close it was, Kaptur won by 0.63% over Merrin, where it was about 181,000 votes to Merrin's 178,716 votes. So incredibly, incredibly close in this past election. Now for 2026, we may be seeing a potential rematch. There are 4 Republicans in the race now: Wayne Kinsel, a brewery owner; Merrin, the former state rep who I just mentioned; Alex Nadeem, lieutenant colonel in the Air National Guard; and Josh Williams, a state representative from 2023. Any of them could win this primary. I would say Merrin, being the nominee from 2024, gives him a little bit of a boost, a little bit of advantage, as he's the candidate that people in this district have probably heard of and know the name of the most. So the assumption would be he'd be the Republican nominee, but again, primaries, you never really know how they're going to go until we get more data and get closer to the actual election day. Then we might get a little bit of a better picture, but for now, I'd assume Merrin starts out as the favorite. Cook Politico and Sabro Cristobal have this race listed as a toss-up, and there's a few reasons going into this where this race is going to be very competitive. One being the current Cook PVI of this district, which is listed at Republican +3. It's interesting because when you look at this race, you can look at Nebraska's 2nd District, where it's listed at Democrat +3, but has her incumbent Republican Don Bacon, who a generic Republican would probably be losing this district, but Don Bacon's able to hold on and win. Ohio 9, I think, is something very similar, where a generic Democrat would probably narrowly lose this district, but Marcy Kaptur has been around in politics for a very long time now. The people of Ohio have known who she is for a very long time. She's able to narrowly hold on to this district and be able to eke out very close victories. Could that change in 2026? Perhaps, but in the past, she's been able to hold on and win these areas. There's also the possibility, though, that right now, I believe Republicans in Ohio are attempting to redraw the congressional map to be more friendly to the Republicans. That can have important ramifications for a district like Ohio 9. But just a few days ago, we got the news out of the state of Wisconsin where they will not be redrawing their map, even though it looked like for a while that they were going to. So you can never really make assumptions on the maps if they're going to get redrawn or not, because you never know what the state Supreme Courts for the respective states are going to say or do. So I'm not going to go off the assumption of this map getting redrawn in this video, because I don't want to kind of jump ahead of something that may or may not be happening until it actually does. So just from this district right now, the Ohio 9th District, it's going to be competitive no matter what in 2026. Kaptur and Merrin are going to be in for a very close election in 2024, which, based on how President Trump did, 2024 should be a more favorable year for the Republicans than 2026 is likely to be. Democrats should have a more favorable election environment, but it's certainly going to be very close as well. If the Republicans, for instance, again, were able to win that lawsuit and change the map in Ohio, it's possible Ohio 9, 13, and Ohio 1 all become pretty much guaranteed Republican flips. Whereas if that does not change and this election continues to be a toss-up, this is going to be one of the closest races in all of the United States. Can Marcy Kaptur win re-election in 2026? Yes, she can. She's been re-elected multiple times now. She's serving in her 22nd term. This is going to be very close. But this gives the Republicans, the nominee from 2024, a very strong chance at potentially winning this state. Now I'm just going to, or this district, excuse me. Now I'm just going to look at the district results from 2024 a little bit more in depth here. See, the district is going to be up here in the Toledo area in Lucas County that voted overall for Kamala Harris in 2024 on the presidential side of things. On the House side of things, this 9th district, pull the results up here. Toledo ended up voting for Marcy Kaptur over Derek Merrin 58% to 38%. So the margin percentages in Lucas County in this district were actually more Democratic friendly for Kaptur than they were for Kamala Harris in the presidential race. If Merrin was able to get the percentages that Donald Trump got, it's possible he would have actually gotten just enough votes to narrowly flip this race. And that's a big thing here, is that there was a libertarian candidate, Tom Pruss, that took up 4% of the vote. If it was a two-person race between Kaptur and Merrin, it's possible it could have been a different story, because Kaptur only getting 48.27% of the vote won by a plurality, not a majority. Does this mean if the Libertarian wasn't in the race, it would have guaranteed gone for the Republicans? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it is very important that there was that vote splitting in 2024, and in 2026, we'll have to wait and see if that ends up happening. I don't believe, as of now, there's any talk of any independent candidates, or third-party candidates, but that could have very important effects for 2026 as well. When you look at the district itself, the largest population county by far is Lucas County, where the city of Toledo is, at over 190,000 votes in 2024, and voted overwhelmingly for Marcy Kaptur over Derek Merrin, 109,693 votes to Merrin's 72,000 votes. Just quick math on my head here, this is going to be about 37,000 net vote advantage just in this one county alone for Kaptur. So essentially what that means is, in all the other counties that did go for the Republican Merrin, he had to try and catch up that 37,000 advantage that Kaptur got and make up enough of those margins. And he was able to get very close. Of that 37,000 votes or so, he made up about 34,000, only losing this race by a little bit under 3,000 votes. But for 2026, for Merrin or whoever the Republican is to have a chance of winning, they have to try and get those margins improved in Lucas County. For the Democrats, it's actually pretty easy how this county, or for how this district goes. They're hoping to try and replicate this map, but if there's not a third-party candidate in the race, likely improve the numbers in Lucas County if as much as possible. But also these Republican areas, like Erie voted 6.6% or 6% in 2024. Erie right here voted for Merrin by 6%. The Democrats will hope to expand the margins there. In Wood County, it only voted by 1.2% for Merrin in 2024. In 2026, the Democrats should be targeting Wood and trying to expand the margins there. Because when you look at the other Republican counties, Sandusky, Ottawa, Fulton, Defiance, and Williams, they're all pretty solid Republican counties that are probably going to vote by solid Republican margins in 2026. But Erie and Wood are two Republican counties that voted in pretty relative narrow margins that the Democrats are concerned about no third-party candidate being the race to vote split. These are two areas the Democrats should look to target to try and boost their margins of victory even more. I do expect the Democrats could do better in Lucas County in a midterm, but if they can't, Erie and Wood could provide the Democrats a little bit of extra votes as well in those areas. How this race goes for 2026 still remains to be seen, but it could play a very, very important role for 2026. As their current House map right now, the Democrats only trail the Republicans by about 3 seats. The Republicans have a 3-seat majority in the U.S. House, but if the Republicans can win this district, that gives the Republicans another seat. Then Democrats need to flip 4 seats to win the House back. And if that Ohio redraw does go through, maybe the 13th and the 1st district also flips. This gives the Republicans an extra 3 seats. Democrats then need to flip 6. So the districts in Ohio are very important, and Marcy Kaptur holding on to this district could be very, very important for the Democrats' chances at winning the House in 2026. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts, and I hope to see you in a future video.